All right, I'm on a long stretch of road here. I'm on a business trip, and these are the times on the highway when you think to yourself a lot of things, and you talk to yourself, and you ponder. And what I've been pondering is very important for you to hear, you who are listening right now, because it's the number one mistake that you're making. Guaranteed. And that if you knew how to correct this mistake that you are making right now, it would change your life. It would absolutely change your life. No doubt. And how do I know that? Because it's the same thing, the same mistake that everyone else is making. No matter where you are in the world, no matter your position in life, whether you're a man, a woman, husband, a father, a mom, a dad. And that mistake is thinking that you have tomorrow. Now, before we think, oh, this is some doomsday cloud over your head, or sit in the corner and rock and say, woe is me, I'm going to die someday, what have I done, kind of thing. Or that, I'm saying you wake up in the morning and the first thought in your head is this going to be the day that I leave my family behind? And you start being fearful and dread and anxiety sets in. No, it's none of that. And in fact, if you have that sort of relationship with death, then that's a topic of conversation for another time. But what I'm talking about now is holding a sacred space in which you recognize the fragility of life. You recognize just how close you are every day to death with every breath you take. And in that sacred space, it causes you to be appreciative, to think more deeply about the things you care about, the people you love, the decisions you're making, and how consequential they are to the life you're living. Because I always say that if you want to leave a legacy that you're proud of, you have to live that legacy first. If you want to leave a legacy, you have to live that legacy. And if you want it to be a legacy you're proud of, then you have to start crafting your life around that singular focus. But instead, we get so distracted by everything. And we get confused, and we get pulled in so many different directions, and we lose our focus. There's a saying you've probably heard of, that a healthy person has 1,000 wishes. A sick person, just one. It might have been Confucius or someone else that said that. Also Tony Robbins. It's a saying that's been around for many, many years. But what does it mean? Well, this is what it means to me. It could mean something different to you, but when you're sick, think about this. When you're sick, you've got one focus, and that's getting well. You have one wish. I want to be well. And guess what? You'll do anything you can to get well. Nothing else seems right until you're well, right? If you have a headache, can you really enjoy watching a movie? Or do you say to yourself, man, I've got this pounding headache. I think I should go skydiving. I've always wanted to do that. No. No, absolutely not. No, it's the furthest thing from your mind. You want one thing, and that's to get well. And so you'll read books. Maybe you'll dig into uh, what's the root cause of my illness. You'll ask around. You might go to the doctor. I don't know. You're going to do whatever it takes. Change your diet, change your life in any way you can to get back to health. That's your one wish. Now, when you're healthy, now suddenly, like the saying says, you have 1,000 wishes. You want to do this, you want to do that, you want to go here, you want to go there, I'm going to go out with my friends, I'm going to have a good time. What if we lived our healthy life with the same intensity and focus that the sick person does, but in a good way? Okay? In other words, what if we lived our lives, our healthy lives, with intentionality and with focus and with singular vision? And that vision is understanding the fragile state of our lives. Because when you understand that piece, you think more clearly, you love more deeply, you become more appreciative, more thankful. Just like when you're sick, and nothing's right, we take for granted the health we had. And then when you're healthy, how quickly you forget to be thankful, right? It's that same thing where, again, we have 1,000 more wishes, and we suddenly lose that focus and that vision and that drive that we had. And that, for me, that passion has been this one word called legacy. That's the word that keeps coming back to me. And so I've been thinking upon that and trying to figure out what that means for me. To live a life that I'm proud to leave behind, a legacy that I can pass on, not just in the finance realm, right? But in faith, in values, instilling the things that I believe, passing them to my children. I want them to know their dad. I want them to know me, to know what I loved and what I despised, what I believed, even my shortcomings. And I've been thinking on, how do I transfer that over to them, right? There's everyday living, and of course we instill our values and our faith in the things that we do every single day, but there's things we miss. There's things that go unsaid. There's things that we wish we would have told them. For some, it might be the I love yous, and maybe you need to do that more. Maybe you need to tell your children, your wife, your friends, your significant other, how much you love them and appreciate them. Maybe that's it. But maybe for you, maybe for someone else, it's not that. Maybe you want to communicate how much you value them, or the work that you're doing for them, because the career you have and why it's important to you, and maybe you want to instill work ethic in them, and you want to, I don't know. It's different for everyone. Also, maybe you're working 80 hours a week and you're burnt out and you're like, I don't even know where to start. Like, this is no life for me. Well, so there again, a change needs to happen. And if you knew you had 5 years or 10 years to live, would you put something together, like a plan, to figure out how to get out of your 80-hour-a-week job, if you thought that you didn't have tomorrow or 2 or 5 or 10 years from now, what would you do differently to make sure that the life you're living now is the life you want to live and the legacy you want to leave? I was just listening to a story someone on social media that I follow was sharing about a friend of theirs who just 2 weeks ago passed away. He was an author, a best-selling author, a dad, a husband, had 4 children, 4 girls. Was a very successful business person, wealthy both in finance and in attitude and in faith, and lived his life in a way that truly was a legacy lifestyle. And he was vacationing with his family just 2 weeks ago in Utah. He got up, they were going to go hiking in the mountains, and they did. And that day he I guess he passed out. I'm not sure if he passed out. He had a heart attack. He collapsed. And they weren't able to revive him. That was his last day on earth. Young, healthy, fit, as far as it looked. It seemed, from what I could see. And so this guy who I was listening to was reflecting on his friend and the legacy that his friend left and the friendship that he had with this guy, this man. And it just once again drove home to me, like, listen, he had everything going for him. Everything. Wife, kids, business, the perfect life. And he had no idea that morning when he got up to go on a hike with his family that was going to be his last day. But ironically, even though no one is technically ready, you could say he was ready. His life was in order. He had things where he wanted them. And sure, given more time, he would have just built more of the same legacy. And it would have just been deeper and more rich and full of meaning, because that's what he had already created. But so many people aren't at that spot. Maybe they want to be, but they don't know how to get there. And my passion, my zeal, which is something that has been growing in me over the past, I would say, year or so, is this whole question of how do we live our lives, my life, and I say specifically as dads because I'm a dad, in such a way that I'm proud to leave this life behind, knowing that I have communicated well, I have lived well, I have instilled my values, the things that I believe about life and about love and how to succeed in your faith and your business and all those things, that I've accomplished that already. Maybe for you, that's something different. Like I said, maybe it's not any of those things. Maybe it's something else. But whatever that is, having this space where you hold an understanding of the fragility of life, how finite we are, how short life can be, gives you a renewed sense of purpose and a gratitude when you wake up every morning. And instead of doomsday, oh, woe is me, this could be the day I die, it's God, thank you. Wow. I woke up Another day with a smile on my face. I'm healthy, I'm well, I'm fit, I have wealth, whatever the case may be. I have breath in my lungs. I can move, I can talk, I can go to my job, I can, whatever the case may be, I can do that. And I can do it in a way that is fulfilling and it brings meaning to myself and to those around me. When you change that one thing, which is your attitude towards life and death, and your understanding of your purpose and your mission and your vision, and have that singular focus, the same focus that a sick person has, the one wish that a sick person has, you have that focus as a healthy person. That changes everything.